At this point, you should have a pretty solid idea of how this scale sequencing pattern sort of thing works and how you can use it across different keys through different positions to really build your familiarity with what's happening on the fretboard. Like I said in a previous video, though, whenever possible, if you have the brain capacity to do so, once you start to settle into these patterns and they kind of become comfortable, and they might take some thinking still, and your fingers might not want to do them naturally, but you understand the pattern, you can kind of relax into it and just make your way through. Then you can think about adding another piece of the puzzle as far as building skills while you're doing these exercises, right? For instance, don't just play the exercises if you don't know the notes on the fretboard. Say the notes as you go, and that will take up most of your brain space. Once you know what the notes are, you can start thinking about other things. I'm going to play these patterns anyways, so I might as well practice them with a metronome. Okay, and so that's what I just want to touch on really briefly. I've talked a lot about metronome stuff in other videos on the channel and on the podcast and in live streams. It's really important, and it's a great barometer for your practice, because what it allows you to do is quantify exactly how fast you're playing through this stuff. And maybe you spend a month working through a set of patterns at a given tempo that you know because you play it all with a metronome, and you're practicing your timing and you're internalizing that. But also you can quantify it, and you know that, oh, when I played through it last time, I was at this BPM, but now I'm feeling much more comfortable in playing this, so I can go 10 BPM faster. And that is a quantifiable improvement that you have made just by practicing this stuff. And you would never know that if you weren't playing along with the metronome. So I recommend you play with the metronome once you have the capacity to think about something else and you can settle into the routine. But you start playing these scales, whatever pattern you want. I think I'll just play straight threes for this example at a given metronome pace. So this is 120. This is pretty comfortable for me. If I want to challenge myself, I would push a little bit faster, but just so you can see it and comprehend what I'm doing here, I'm gonna put it going and play. And I'm gonna play C sharp, 1, 2, 3 in threes. Okay, so from first position, I would be like this. And then we go down. And then you would move your fingering up to the next position. Another wonderful way to improve the challenge, you start thinking, okay, I've got my metronome on as I'm practicing. I'm working my way through these patterns. I know what the notes are that I'm playing because I've said them out loud a lot. It's all starting to come together. My brain has room for some other aspect of music that I can use to increase the challenge of this puzzle that I am building of music and understanding on the fretboard. And what that would come in the form of, for myself at least, is your picking style. Up to this point, we haven't talked about picking at all. If you've been playing these, you're probably playing them just with whatever picking style is comfortable to you. But you can use these exercises to specifically practice a very certain style of finger picking, whatever that is to you. Maybe you want to play thumb and index. And I could put the metronome on. Okay, I'm going to play in second position. Now I'm still in C sharp, so what's that going to be? And then I work through it. So that's super hard for me to play. I don't do a lot of thumb index, and because I was trying to do thumb index alternating strictly back and forth, every grouping of 3 comes around again, and when you hit it, you're going to be on the opposite finger of where you started off last time, right? So if I go 1, 2, 3, I'm down with my thumb on that. So I'm ending with my thumb. So on the next time I start a group of 3, I'm gonna be up on my index finger. And then thumb starts the next one. And then index, and then thumb, and then index, right? So we've added a huge layer of complexity by trying to do that specific style. And that's challenging for me because I don't play in that style too often. What I do when I'm going to alternate pick is I play index finger picking down, up, down, up, down, up with my index finger. So let me try that from the 3rd position, still in the C sharp scale. And then down. A lot easier because that position sits nicer on the fretboard. Also, I'm used to that style. But whatever style you're not used to, or if there's a picking style that you want to improve at, this is a great opportunity to do that. So often I see people who practice and they practice for one thing. And it's like, it's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But while you're practicing, if what you're practicing is achievable in your current state, adding another facet on top is a great way to get twice as much done with your practice time. And you'll be that much further along when you get done with that set of practice. Or if you work through all 12 keys with all of the different positions using whatever pattern you choose to work on it with, if you add facets that improve the complexity, you start playing it with a metronome so that you're building your time as well, and you practice a specific picking style, you're getting so much further ahead with the same amount of time dedicated to practice. It might take you slightly longer because you're going to be challenged. You're going to have to recalibrate and stop more often than you would otherwise, but you're still getting so much more done. So I think it's super worth it to try and do that whenever possible. If you haven't already, please go to liveukulele.com/fretboard to download the PDF handout bundle for this mini-series. The videos are available to the public here, but if you go sign up for free over on the website, you get access to the handout so you can see these examples written down in tab, get a better feel for the patterns visually if you're a visual learner. And I'm also including a practice routine, so you have kind of a little bit of an idea how I would break this up into manageable chunks, because altogether it seems like a lot, but if you break it down, it's really only 1 or 2 minutes that you would spend practicing this stuff every day that you sit down to practice your ukulele. I'll catch you in the next video. Until then, hang in there, keep working on this stuff, and implement as many facets as you can at once while still playing things perfectly.